Hi there, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the vlog. I got no fancy intro today. Today, I just wanted to talk about the news that rock and roll pioneer Jerry Lee Lewis has passed away at the age of 87. With this means that there is now nobody left from the original Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction class of 1986. It's hard to believe there were so many icons on that list, and now all of them have passed away, from like Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Elvis, Sam Cooke, Ray Charles, James Brown, Buddy Holly. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. I've missed a lot of them just now. It's amazing to think that now, as of today, the people who pretty much created the genre in the 1950s have all pretty much passed on now. I made a video about Jerry Lee Lewis, I think a few months ago, I want to say, on this channel about his life and career. I will link to it in the description. He, of course, had quite a complicated legacy. He was a recording artist for Sun Records. Sun Records, of course, being the same record label that Elvis Presley got his start on, as well as like Johnny Cash did, and Carl Perkins, and even Roy Orbison in his early days. But Jerry Lee Lewis is not one of the people who had his contract bought out by a larger recording label. He had most of his hits on Sun Records. Of course, his first major hit was A Whole Lot of Shaking Going On. And then arguably his most famous, his next single, was Great Balls of Fire. He's not only the last of the 50s rock and rollers to still be around until, of course, today, but he was also the last one to keep performing by a long shot. He's the only one of the original 1950s rock and roll pioneers that I actually got a chance to see live. I saw him perform back in 2017, at which point he was already in his early 80s. He didn't perform the longest show in the world, but it was a really, really fun show. He played his classic hits. He even brought out Chris Christopherson, and they did Me and Bobby McGee together, which was amazing. This was down in Los Angeles at what was it? The theater at the Ace Hotel, I believe. It was an amazing show. And he continued performing until shortly before he suffered a stroke back in 2019 that forced his retirement from performing music. But in this last few months, Jerry Lee Lewis had actually recorded a brand new gospel album. I actually, I'm not a big... I'm not a religious person myself. I never got that into gospel, but this new record was actually really good. It was with, of course, Jimmy Swaggart, and yeah, I actually enjoyed a couple of the songs that they put out. Like I said, he had a complicated legacy. He was virtually shunned from the industry back in, like, early in his career in about 1958. When a certain scandalous relationship with an underage girl who was actually his cousin came out. It was a whole big stink back in the time. And so, yeah, his legacy is far from perfect and immaculate, but he certainly changed music and inspired a lot of people, and had just a long career. Until recently, he was actually updating his fans on like Facebook by making these little videos. I just looked it up. I think his most recent one was back in May. So as early or as recently as May of this year, he was talking to his fans over Facebook, and I think that recording for that new album happened this year. So yeah, from 1950, 56, back in the days when he was with Sun Records, and back in the days when in December of 1956 he was, of course, the last surviving member of the $1 Million Quartet, alongside the other Sun recording artists, Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, and Carl Perkins. Again, now there's nobody left from that group as well. So a lot of chapters of rock and roll history have closed today, and I'm very sad to hear about that. Like I said, I'll link in the description to my other video I made about Jerry Lee Lewis, and we will remember him through his rock and roll boogie-woogie music that he helped pioneer. What an amazing career, and I'll talk to you guys again real soon.